Alright, what is up my viewers? Time for another World of Tanks gameplay commentary, but before we get too much into that, first of all, I do just want to say sorry for the poor audio quality on the previous video. If you're wondering what's going on, well, this one and the previous replay were both recorded using my laptop, and the previous one was done using my Logitech G430? Yeah, I believe that's the numeric designation, headset. And I have discovered that thing doesn't really have necessarily best audio quality. It was what I was using when I was recovering from my eye surgery down in Keesler. And I said back then it's good enough, but after listening to that last one, I just said I really need to switch over to my on-the-go studio mic. If you're noticing, there's a little bit of reverb, a little bit of echo, but it is still leaps and bounds ahead of that other audio quality. And if you're also wondering if you might have seen that monthly channel update number 2 for December, I said I was going to try and record a lot of videos before I went to go visit my family on leave for the holidays. Unfortunately, I ran out of time trying to pack and all that fun stuff, but so now I'm just fitting in little times here and there to record some videos when I'm not hanging out with the family and upload them to my channel. So you should be seeing one every 2 days or so, if not more frequently. But as you can see right here, let's get right back into this match. I've rambled on long enough about real life events. It is Fisherman's Bay Standard Battle, the only battle type, and it is a replay sent in from good old Mr. Never Aim, playing his E25. And I have to say, I recently bought this vehicle. I love this vehicle. Its rate of fire is insane. Its DPM is massive. And it is preferred matchmaking, so you're most of the time going to see tier 7s, probably a few tier 8s here and there, but it is a very strong vehicle. And right now, he's playing in a spot I actually found myself playing in. I did get a Fisherman's Bay map on my E25. I've only played a few matches in it so far, but he's sitting in a spot I found myself sitting in. So it seems like him and I have very similar mindsets. Right here, he's already getting off a few shots for damage. Over 500 points of damage already dealt, and the enemy team and his team both getting kills, although the enemy team still having a hit point lead, most likely due to that Tog 2 on the enemy's team, being his team doesn't have one. But his team certainly having a massive presence across the map, pretty well spread out, and really the enemy team not being able to push forward anywhere. Him managing to eliminate that enemy Hellcat and get kill number 2 for his team. So far, solid performance, 594, and a single kill on a tier 6 and a tier 7 match, especially one such as the Hellcat. I know the Hellcat has been nerfed, but its gun is still plenty potent. Looks like he might try to get this Lux here, but the Lux backing down like a smart scout should. T20 last spotted the center, KV85 spotted it down towards the town region, and the enemy team really having the strongest presence over in the town area right there. Kill number 2, and an FPS drop, not necessarily due to the game, but for some reason my replay just started having an FPS drop for no real good any sort of reason whatsoever. Trying to get shots on this Tog 2, he recognizes that post is in the way, takes the shot to clear it out, and the enemy team still solidly behind, not really having any sort of significant advantage, although his team now gaining another tank advantage. There it is, 6-2, 4 tank difference. Getting shots on this Tog and managing to get a few, actually here, 3. How many more? We'll see, 4. So this Tog just sitting here taking the punishment, number 5 from an E25. 6, is he gonna get the kill on this thing? Nope. Shot number 7, and the Tog not backing down enough. Shot number 8, and barely surviving with 33 hit points. That enemy Tog finally getting some sense beat into it. Like I said earlier on in the match, this thing just has a monster rate of fire, and his camouflage clearly good. I'm assuming he has 6th sense on this thing, and he still has not been really spotted by anything on the enemy team. He's being fairly aggressive in this vehicle, which is kind of how you have to play the E25. You have to play it as a mix between a scout tank and a tank destroyer, which are two usually very opposing roles, but the E25 somehow makes them come together and work beautifully. This Tog probably gonna die. There it goes. A KV85 sitting way back on base. Clearly a noob player who doesn't really know too much about what he's doing, because a KV85, a heavy tank, should never be sitting all the way back on base. He should be somewhere else on the map towards the front lines, maybe the second line of tanks, trying to influence the battle using his armor and hit points. Granted, he is a tier 6 and a tier 7 match, so his influence is going to be somewhat limited, but he should still be right alongside his tier 7 counterparts to either look for a flank or to provide a distraction for the enemy team. And kill number 4, blind firing into that KV3, beautifully played. If you know where the enemy tank was last spotted and you don't think he's moved, you should just continue to fire in that last known location until you believe you are no longer landing shots. And he said Shrek'd right there. I guess he's just provoking the enemy team a little bit, but the enemy team actually doing a fairly good job closing their earlier tank gap, and now it is only a 2 tank difference, although Never Aim's team still has the lead, so it is most certainly still their game. Not to mention, Never Aim still has plenty of shots and plenty of health left to absolutely win this for his team. The enemy team, if you're noticing earlier in the match when I was rambling on about things going on elsewhere, the enemy team certainly was solidly winning the city. But as for what they try and do with that at this point in the game, it is yet to be seen. Never Aim's team not only having a tank lead, but a hit point lead, if you'll notice, right beneath the tank count, 37-45 to 25-49, and that gap kind of got closed there a little bit. But Never Aim getting kill number 5 and just absolutely being a beast in this camoed up tank destroyer. And he, like I said, he's being rather aggressive with it, but the E25, certainly one of those vehicles that can be played in either a scout or a tank destroyer role, and sometimes you play a little bit of mixture of both. That KV-85 still sitting on the enemy's base. Which one is it? Finally spotted. I told you he had 6th sense, and up until this point, he really had not been located by that enemy team whatsoever. But that is Bosk55, who is the worst of the KV-85 players. He is currently a 20 out of 100 on that WN8 scale, so certainly below the average curve. And getting kill number 6, you heard it, monster kill. That is a Top Gun, and right here, that better KV-85 trying to take a pull out and a shot for massive damage, hopefully softening up this enemy E25, who is absolutely decimating his team. Kill count actually evening up even more so for the enemy team, 12 to 11, so it is certainly going to be up to Never Aim to win it for his team, considering the skill level of the other remaining players. But he will get kill number 7 right there. I didn't even hear what that was, but over 3,500 points of damage dealt in a tier 7 match. Just to put that into perspective, if you're in a tier 10 vehicle and you do 3,500 points of damage, that's respectable. If you're in a tier 7 vehicle and you do over 3,500 points of damage, you are doing insanely well for yourself. I'm just saying, there's no two ways about it. He is absolutely dominating this enemy team. And it's all because half the match, they didn't even know where he was. They were just getting blown up by him. His camo was completely overpowered. I guarantee you he has camo crew skill and that he is all painted up. He doesn't even have a camo net. Why? Because he clearly does not need it to remain a ghost and just absolutely annihilate all opposition. The enemy team currently trying to capture, but only one vehicle, that KV2, being on the capture circle. His team trying to capture them out as well because they are not too comfortable with the tank difference at this point. He is currently not spotted because we know full well he has that, aiming for the top hatch, rampage, kill number 8, and managing to absolutely decimate this enemy team even more so. I mean, just his team needlessly capturing at this point. It looks like they did get off the capture circle because he did ask, if you're paying attention to the chat channel, he asked them to get off the capture circle so he could get kill number 9, which is going to be coming up here very short. He will certainly out DPM this KV2 if it was not for his 3001P ally just getting a little bit greedy, wanting to take some damage and kills for himself. But, I mean, how many of you wouldn't have done the same thing in that 3001P's place? I mean, granted, he did kind of rob him of the, what is it? That would be a Radley Walters, 8 or 9 kills. I believe 9 kills might be, I will see in the post-game stats. Let's just go to those and I'll stop sounding like an idiot. Alright, so Radley Walters, 8 or 9 kills, so he was not robbed of a Pools medal. Pools is for 10 or 11 kills? Again, I'm sounding like an idiot because I don't know my medals, but I mean, how often do people get a Pools medal? It's not too common. I mean, even Radley Walters is kind of a rare sight these days because either your team is doing so poorly that you cannot carry them enough to kill enough of the enemy team to get it, or your team is doing so well that the kills and damage get so evenly distributed that you have no chance of getting it. I mean, it's one of those rare circumstances, but clearly Mastery Badge Ace Tanker getting fire for effect and Arsonist, so apparently he lit one of those enemy vehicles on fire, probably that KV3. Yeah, that KV3 got lit on fire. The one he blind fired killed got high caliber. Of course he got high caliber. Getting Top Gun, again, of course, if you get Rally Walters, you're going to get Top Gun as well. Version 9.4, I guess I didn't state that earlier on. Yeah, I'm working through the 9.4 replays. I've got another 20 or so to get through, both viewer submitted and my own, and maybe even 30 or so. We'll see. I'm going to be powering through those as soon as I get home. I'm going to do as many as I can while here with the family, but until I get home, I'm really not going to be able to do too many. And wow, that is impressive. Over 5,300 points of damage, just under 5,400. I mean, in a tier 7 match, there's barely that many hit points to begin with in a tier 7 match. Granted, that Tog helped him out quite a bit by just giving him, what was it, 8 or 9 shots worth of damage without even moving. Yeah, that enemy Tog 2, not the brightest crayon in the bunch, but, you know, there are good players, there are not so good players in this game, but Never Aim, clearly one of the better players. If you did not take notice of his XVM stats in the replay, you might want to rewind a bit and just check on those. But total of 56 shots fired, 46 direct hits, and 42 penetrations. 42, the meaning of life in all things in the universe. And a total of only 3 hits received. Of course, all of them were penetrations. The E25, certainly not known for its armor or hit points, but certainly does survive well enough for Never Aim. And if you have it fully camoed up, you will clearly ghost just like he did. He was barely spotted for that entire match, managing to net over 90,000 credits. That is a well-earned salary for him. And overall, just a very impressive game. As I said, like the E25, you got to be able to drive it around and position it where it is needed on the map. You play it like a scout tank where you're more towards the front line and you're moving around a lot on the map to reposition where you're needed. But at the same time, you hang back a little bit like a tank destroyer using concealment and trying to stay hidden for as long as you can. So it is an odd breed, but it is certainly a good vehicle. And if you are not aware, around the time this video comes out, they are removing it from the in-game store. So if you do not have one and you want one, now is the time to buy it. I am not advocating for you to go buy tanks, but if you've always wanted one, your last chance is coming up. So might as well go get one. It is certainly a good vehicle. I highly recommend it. I enjoy mine. I've only had it for a few games, but all the games I've had it in have been very good. Of course, I'm a skilled player. I know how to use it. So even in the hands of a not so experienced player, it will still handle fairly decently. Total of 39 defense points. I didn't mention that earlier, but still very respectable. And overall, I have to say, Camo is OP at times. Hey, he even said that. Camo OP. Yeah, let's definitely agree on that point. But until next time, remember to hit that like button if you like this video. Click subscribe if you want to see more. Yeah, that's the one. And if you've got a replay that you want me to possibly do a commentary on, of course they all get commentaries. Whether or not it gets uploaded to my channel is another thing, but there are instructions in the description down below for how to do that. And if you have any suggestions on how I can make my videos or channel better, or just random thoughts, put those down in the comment section below. But until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off. MLG.